Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this Nintendo 3DS XL. To catch you up, here's where I'm at so far. This Nintendo 3DS XL went to a repair shop because this display wasn't working. They couldn't fix it, and in fact, it stopped working altogether. So I'm going to see if I can figure out what happened to it. After removing the SD card, we can remove the back. Couple clips, and the back pops off. I'll pop the battery, couple more screws. We can pop this guy, and right off the bat I think I found out what's happened here. There's a connector here that is simply missing its little flap, and I believe that is the backlight one. So let me see if I can rig that to work. I'm just going to steal this connector from the microphone and then hardwire the microphone to the board. It's such a small flex, easy to transport with the board, and they're the same connector, so I'm just going to swap them over real quick. I'll tin the traces, flip it over, and solder each one in place. This is only one of the things that this Nintendo 3DS needed. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll post the full-length video shortly. So we've done the backlight here, hardwired the microphone, and this flex cable, you may have noticed from the video, was not connected properly. Without this flex connected properly, the Nintendo 3DS XL won't even turn on. So the repair shop damaged the connector and didn't even connect back this cable correctly, hence why it wouldn't power on. That being said, I'm going to show you where we're at so far. We'll take our battery and I'm just going to hold it here in place, making sure it's lined up, and now we can see if we have any power. You can see the bottom display lights up. That's a good sign. I'm going to put in the SD card real quick. Put the battery back, let's turn it back on. And now we can see that it is on and working. However, we don't have a top display. It is still not working, which is the original issue that this device had in the first place. Well, let's see if we can figure out what happened to it and see if we can fix it. Given that we have no display, let's replace the display. If there's one word that I could use to sum up what it's like to replace the top LCD panel in the Nintendo 3DS, it's annoying. Let me just get my thumbnail real quick. To start off, we have to remove 10 screws. There's 4 on the right, 4 on the left holding it down, and then 2 at the bottom. We got these 2 screws to remove. Then we can pop this guy up, flip up the little latch, and slide out the flex cable. Got a few more to disconnect. This one, the one that we replaced before. Then we have the big display flex cable. Gently push that flex out. And then the microphone that I hardwired to the board. And here we've got the Wi-Fi module. Disconnect it. And we'll need to pop this coax cable. Gently pop it off. Set that aside. This flex cable that was incorrectly installed before. Slide it out. This one. And then we can pick up the motherboard. And this was missing a few things along with some screws, giving me a little bit of resistance at the top. Oh, I missed the digitizer flex. Let's disconnect that one. Good thing I went slow so I didn't tear this little guy. And now we can flip up the board and we've got one more big flex cable in the back corner. This one's really annoying to reconnect because that flex is rolled up like a coil and it wants to spring down. It's just an awkward flex cable. You can see when I flip up the flap, it just shoots down. Now this coax cable we're going to need to feed through the hinge, so I'll pull that up. We'll open up the screen, and the previous repair shop left these little stickers that cover up the screws out. So we'll access those 4 screws right now, take them out. These ones are nice and short. Once those 4 screws are out, the back cover kind of slides up. You can kind of pull on it and kind of put pressure and slide it towards the top. It's a little awkward to grip, but eventually you'll get it to slide up and pop away. Just like that. The next step is going to be dealing with this hinge right here. Now you have to make sure that the device is closed. I'm going to take a small flathead screwdriver and we're going to push that to the side by going down into this little gap right here and giving it a little bit of tension to the side. And you can see how it's sliding out. You need to make sure it slides even more. Then this black piece will come up if it's slid enough. We need to go a little bit farther with this one. When it slid far enough, this black piece will come out with ease. Then I'll grab this transparent plastic piece. We'll set that aside. You can kind of bend the hinge a little bit and it should just slide right out, just like that. And we'll carefully start to pull on this section. And we need to make sure we don't tear any of these flex cables. There is a little bit of a slot here that we can slide things through. Gently working them out one at a time. pushing them nice and gently through. And last, making sure that the coax cable doesn't get caught. It comes out nice and clean as well. Just like that. We'll flip up the flap here for the backlight and the speaker. And that'll come up and off. And we've got one screw on this side for the other speaker. And the little LED light at the top. It just pops away. There's a little bit of double-sided adhesive there. And then that'll pop away. And we'll gently pull up this flex cable and that'll fall down. And I think I figured out what happened to the display. If we peel these flex cables back, we can actually see that this display flex right here is torn. Look at that. It must have sheared off, and that's what caused the display to stop working. Well, now we're just going to push the display through from the other side. Comes up really easily. There's no adhesive or anything holding it down. And it pops away from the housing. Gently roll up the damaged flex, and we'll push it through that little hinge. And out it comes, and out comes the display. We do need to carefully remove the front portion of the screen. It's got some double-sided adhesive that holds it down along the border, and it's relatively easy to remove. You just have to get in the right layer. Once I'm in the right layer, I'm just going to slide my tweezers. You can use pry tools. You can use anything that's really thin and durable to go through these. I'm going to cut down the side. Probably should be going a little bit deeper, right towards the edge of the black inner part of the plastic, or it might be plexiglass. We want to keep this adhesive on the back where it's at, so we don't want to lift up too hard on this. We want to slice through it as quickly and as cleanly as we possibly can, and I find this to be super satisfying. We'll turn the corner and go down this other side and do the same on this final side, slicing nice and cleanly through that adhesive while keeping it intact. And we can lift it away from the LCD panel. Hopefully it hasn't stuck down too much from cutting it. And I knew I should have gone a little bit deeper here. There we go. Let's slice through that little last section that I missed. Now we'll take our new LCD panel, and we kind of want to do this relatively quick because pulling off this piece of plastic will create a little bit of static, making it so that dust will want to stick to the inner side of the display, and we'll carefully transfer that out nice and quick over to prevent any dust or debris from getting on the inside. And of course, if you see any, it's a good time to clean it. The outside of this one's dirty, so it does look like there's dust in there, but we could address that quite easily if we needed to. Make sure everything's aligned properly, and then we can compress it on down. To put the new LCD back, we're going to carefully fold over the flex over itself. Just roll it up just so slightly. This is somewhat annoying and tedious, but we'll gently funnel it through the hinge there. The other flex cables that we've left in there kind of act as a guide almost and help funnel it through. And we can grip it and pull it through to the other side. Gently without damaging the flex, just like that. And we can fold over the display and put it in the housing. But before we fully seat it in there, I need to put the coax cable back in place. So it kind of goes under the display there and then out the hinge. This is a little awkward. Now that that's all the way through, let's put back the other flex cables. We'll gently put this one in the top, push down on the flex wherever that adhesive was to get it to stick again. We'll put back the little speakers, line everything up so that we can screw it on down. Put back that screw, push in the speaker, make sure the LED lines up in its little slot. This one's a bit awkward. We need to put it back while kind of putting back in those two new little flex cables. Those actually look like they've slid in all the way. Just gonna double check them real quick. Yep, they look good. So we can go ahead and push down the two little flaps. All right, we'll get out our housing. The third hand is really helpful in this portion, but we'll funnel the coax cable through that little opening. And then we've got to carefully work each one of those flex cables through the little slot there without damaging them. But eventually you'll work them through. The coax got pinched in there, so it's preventing him from going all the way through, but now they actually want to travel. This part is truly annoying. And finally, we've got everything in the hinge properly. We can kind of pry back the other side and slide in that tiny little clip. It's like that, and then we should be able to close things down. That all looks really good. We can't slide this back yet But if you do choose to slide this back and you flip it over, you'll find out real quick when you go to install everything that although you can put back this little clear plastic, you won't be able to put this back because that's in the way now. So you can push it back just like that. Then you can slide in the little black piece, and then finally we can put it back where it goes. And now that everything's back together, we can finally put on the back once again. So kind of compressed and then all slide down in the end to clip in place. We'll then put back the 4 screws. And if I had the little stickers, I'd be putting them back over to cover up these screws. But the top is now done. And now it's time to put back the motherboard. And don't forget to put back also the sliders for like the 3D mode on the display. And now for the most annoying and tedious part of the repair, in my opinion, is reconnecting this flex cable. If you have an extra person that you can ask to help, I highly recommend you do it. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting the tension of this flex cable with the risk of damaging it while trying to connect it. So I'll grab the flex cable gently with my tweezers. We will slide it in as much as we can. Then we can flip down the flap. Make sure everything's aligned and that one's good to go. Then we'll make sure that the digitizer flexes on the outside there, and the motherboard can fall down into its little guides. Make sure none of the other flex cables get pinched. We'll connect back the digitizer flex and push that flap down. Grab this one, slide it all the way in, and then we can flip up the flap, and then we can put this one back in the right place. You want the orange side sticking out, not the kind of darker brown side. We'll connect up the little Wi-Fi daughter board and connect it on the board. Gently push down that little microphone back into its slot. Reconnect the lower display, gently pushing in, making sure it goes all the way into that zip connector. And finally the little flex. We'll put back this little slider, making sure we align the slider properly. Connect it up, and then we'll put back the 10 screws, and we'll slide in one of our last components, click it down, line things up, and push that into the slot. And then we can put back the 2 long screws that holds this down to the housing. With the SD card out, we can go ahead and connect up the lower case with these 2 side buttons. Then we can close it up, and then we can put back the remaining screws once that's down. Now this was missing a few non-essential components, or little clips and some screws, at least a screw and some stickers, but all in all it's still going to work just fine. There's 6 long screws on the back, and there should be 1 shorter one up top right where the game card goes, but this one was missing it. It's not really critical. I'll slide back in the SD card, that to click in. We'll put back the battery, and then we can put back the back and tighten those 2 little screws. And now we're good to fully test it. Let's go ahead and open it up, and let me wipe down some of my fingerprints. It's not perfect, but we can go ahead and test it. And would you look at that, we've got a top display. God Mode 9 on this. And would you look at that, everything is working again. I want to make sure that it does shut off when we close it. And it did. That's great. And then I want to check as well just to make sure the 3D function works, and it does. It's kind of hard to tell, the camera isn't making it out as much, but it looks really cool. I love this feature. You can kind of see it glitch on the camera, but it's got that fun 3D effect. And this device is good to go.